one oncologist basically turned around to me and said it's a waste of time. Diet is a waste of time, which quite really upset me. But then when I actually got my results from our first time we went on to your kind of diet plan, I was off treatment for 3 or 4 weeks, but when I got my first scan results, we've been on your diet for 3 months, everything had halved, and nothing had grown.
Well, hello, Eddie. So lovely to speak to you. And I'd like you to tell all of our listeners about your diagnosis and your journey with embracing nutrition. So do you mind kicking off by just telling everybody what your diagnosis is, and how long ago that diagnosis was made?
So yeah, back in February 2022, I was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer, which basically had spread to my hip, my chest. So that's how I originally found out. This lump just appeared on my chest. It spread to my lower back, lungs, and obviously my kidney. So yeah.
So a pretty stark diagnosis. And at the time, tell people what you do for a living and tell people about your kind of background fitness level.
Yeah, so I'm ex-military. I did 24 years regular service. I still do reserves, so quite active. I run 2 small cybersecurity companies. So yeah, quite a busy person. Just getting on with life and yeah, keep yourself active.
So with that active life, how much of a shock did it come to you to go, actually, there's cancer quite widespread in your body and lungs? I mean, from somebody who's in the reserves to somebody who suddenly got this massive diagnosis. Tell people how that felt and how that sort of changed your life overnight.
So yeah, I mean, when I went into hospital, A&E, went through the A&E process, got diagnosis, and it was really weird because I had all the scans, went home, and then I got a phone call at 9 o'clock at night. Can you come back in? And as soon as it said that, I thought, yes, this is something serious. And came in and got given the news. And to be fair, I was more worried about my wife. And she broke down crying, and I'm like, look, I ain't dead yet. Let's see what we can do, and just trying to be positive, from like military training, to be able to always keep positive and just keep moving forward. So that's kind of my approach to it.
So from a standard of care, let's call it, what the hospital had to offer, tell everybody what happened first and then what your ongoing treatment has looked like.
Yeah, so I initially obviously got rushed through the whole process, which I couldn't fault at all. As soon as I went,
it really does work. It does work.
For me as well, I'm a veteran. I think having veteran on my medical card helped me get through, because initially I got told I wasn't going to have a scan that day. Then somebody said, you've got a scan, it's happening. So I was like, right. So from going into diagnosis really quick. Then I had to have, an emergency hip replacement. And that's where things kind of slowed down. So I spoke to a number of oncologists, doctors, do I need to change my diet, for instance? Not one of them recommended to change my diet. Now, eat, drink, do what you want, which kind of alarm bells to me. But my focus was obviously, I need a hip replacement because I couldn't start any therapy until they did my hip. And the way the NHS is kind of set up, they don't really talk to each other. So my oncologist was sending a letter only to find out that actually the letter wasn't going anywhere because Birmingham Hospital don't accept letters. So by the time we worked out that I had to do an online form, it was like an Easter weekend coming up. And he said, right, well, they're going to get it tomorrow. And I'm like, well, tomorrow's Good Friday. So when do they do their triage? He went, on a Friday and a Monday. I said, so it's not going to be till next week now. He's like, yeah. So I wasn't happy with that. So I kind of sent a few emails, again, and it's that kind of thing of who shouts loudest. And I kind of I sent an email to the I think one of the chief execs of the Wye Valley Trust. Within an hour, I had an appointment for my hip to be taken out and done. So again, that once it happened, couldn't fault it. Had the hip replacement. Had to wait, I think, about 3 or 4 weeks to recover. Again, you know, the MOD helped me with the recovery on my hip. They gave me this kind of like cold treatment bag that goes around your hip to help it to heal because I couldn't start the treatment until I was healed. So got that done, and then went on to kind of immunotherapy a few weeks after that. So yeah.
So the first thing that's really important for people to hear there is how much you had to advocate for yourself. And you know, most of my listeners probably aren't ex-military, and yes, that seemed to help you, but wasn't, I don't think, just the ex-military. Like you said, it's, I've really got to stand up and advocate for myself, which is a hard thing to do when you're in quite a vulnerable position. So you asked about diet and nobody said anything. Then you started your treatment, your what we call systemic treatment that goes all the way through the body. So again, at any of this point, did anybody talk to you about diet, positive mental attitude, lifestyle medicine, any of those areas that anybody was able to help you with?
No, so I mean, because it's really interesting because one of my friends that I work with, he recommended to me to read a book, How Not to Die, and I did. I read it for, and that literally straight away I was like, and that's why I kept questioning, doctors, do I need to change my diet? And I know I went on to it, and I'm a big meat eater, just love barbecues and stuff like that. And all of a sudden I went on to an organic vegetarian diet. I cut out sugar, processed foods, everything, and that's what I did initially, because I thought, well, that's got to be a starting point. Until I met somebody that led maybe to come and see you.
Yeah. So me and you have been working together since 2023, and we've been on a big journey, which I don't want everybody to know the intricate details of our journey just because it has to be individualized. But that's been our focus all the way through, hasn't it? From looking at your genomics, so digging right down deep into the root, to looking at your gut microbiome, to be watching your bloods. Every time you have your bloods tested, you send them to me. So can you tell our listeners a little bit more about how that's helped you, not just from a physical optimizing your body, optimizing the terrain is how we talk about it, but how's that affected you, or how's that helped you from a positive approach? Because it's not always been the easiest journey from a mental attitude point of view with your doctors, has it? Maybe talk a bit about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. So some of the doctors, have been difficult. So they didn't believe in diet. So one oncologist basically turned around to me and said it's a waste of time. Diet is a waste of time, which quite really upset me. But then when I actually got my results from our first time we went on to your kind of diet plan, I was off treatment for 3 or 4 weeks. But when I got my first scan results, we've been on your diet for 3 months, everything had halved, and nothing had grown, which before everything was slightly growing. So he did say afterwards that maybe a Mediterranean diet he would recommend. I was like, okay, that's what I'm pretty much on. So that definitely changed, and I think one of the things that I've done as well is I've looked at, I came up with I suppose a strategy of how I'm going to deal with this approach, and deal with the cancer. So, positivity, diet, being all over your diet, medical, understanding the medical, what you got, having a focus and be able to focus on stuff, have avoidance from negativity, and keep educating myself on what's going on and what's going on with me. So that's kind of my kind of strategy.
And I love it. That's the kind of strategy I want people to hear, because that is what has allowed you to thrive. And can you just tell the listeners about still what your day-to-day life consists of? Are you sitting at home nursing your hip replacement because you had a tumor in your hip, nursing the fact that you're on systemic treatment, or Eddie, are you doing what I know you're really doing?
So no, I'm just cracking on. So I think work is really important. So again, yeah, I'm working. So I run two small cybersecurity companies, so full-time contract, do my reserves. Yeah, constantly busy. I enjoy cleaning my car. So yeah, my car's always immaculate. This weekend, for instance, because of the winds, we had a number of fences blown down, so I replaced all them. Yeah, just constantly being busy. But yeah, I mean, I can also, so going back to that strategy, I did have some counselling, and he was really, the counsellor was really interested in my my kind of strategy. So he asked me to play get some chairs. We kind of played what we call musical chairs, I suppose. But I had to pick up a chair in this room and put it somewhere. So positivity, where am I going to put it in a room? So I put it towards these kind of bifolding doors. And I sat on the chair and he goes, right, why have you put it there? I said, because I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward and I can see her an horizon. And I know that I want to get to that horizon, but I know there's a ditch over there and I'm going to fall down. But do you know what? I'm going to get back up and I'm going to keep moving forward because, I've got a little sergeant major on my back going, come on, keep moving forward. So that was a positivity bit. Then he said, right, your next chair, what's the next chair? So it's diet. And I'm going to put that directly behind my positivity chair. So I sat by it, still again, looking forward, but having, a good diet, which obviously helps, makes you feel better, makes you feel healthier. So if you're feeling healthier, you're obviously feeling positive, so you're moving forward. Medical, so I'm going to put it slightly to the left of the chair. Again, still looking forward, but I need that medical team around me to be part of my team. And sometimes I think they're not part of that team. I've got to be continually pushing them. And then I grabbed a pillow. That was it, a pillow. And I said, like, this is focus, because I'm not going to have a chair for focus because focus needs to be everywhere. So I need focus at the front on positivity. I need it on the diet because you've got to be focused to do that diet. Medical, you've got to be focused on that because you've got to go through all your supplements and your medication and make sure you turn up for the appointments. So you've got to be focused on that. And then avoidance, he says, right, avoidance, we're going to put that. So I put it to the back of the room facing the wall. And he said, right, why is it there? It's because this is the dark place. This is where you don't want to be. You want to be, looking forward. He said, well, what do you do when you're, facing that wall? How do you get out of it? So I've got a sergeant major behind me. Yeah, and he put me into two people, so Eddie and Paul, and yeah, that sergeant major was like, pulled me back and says, look, get a grip, just get on with it. So that's what I did. I just turned around, and then I had education, which was again directly behind the kind of medical, which is you've got to educate yourself in this area. So this is something that's affecting you, and the only person that's really, really interested in it is you. So if you can educate yourself, and I've read a number of books, and some of them are not medical books. One, You Can't Hurt Me was fantastic about, people's ability to get on with stuff, even though it's so difficult. So yeah, I took a lot of lessons from that. That's kind of.
Absolutely. I actually haven't heard that story in its entirety. I know I've taught you about counseling and how important the whole mind body approach to your journey is. I've never heard that story. That has just blown me away because that is what this is all about. It is about a 360 approach. Of course, you've got your medical team. We need that medical team, but I always know I watch your energy shift a bit when we're waiting for scan results or we're waiting for those appointments. And I know how hard you've had to advocate for yourself with that medical team, but you're so ultra focused on everything that we talk about, on the diet, on providing me with every set of bloods, every piece of information on you give to me so I can be there to help guide you and support you on this journey alongside your medical team. So for anybody listening, what is the biggest piece of advice you can give to anybody that, like you, has a diagnosis of cancer? It doesn't have to be stage 4 diagnosis, a diagnosis of cancer. What's the biggest thing you want? If somebody could have told you this, Eddie, when you were diagnosed that day, that you sat there and heard that noise, what would that news, sorry, what would be that advice that you would like to give to those people?
It's not over until it's over, right? So keep positive, challenge. Doctors, they're not always right. And they're only focused on giving you some medicine, to prolong your life. But you can do so much more to help yourself as much as you can. So go out to yourself, like your basic nutrition, and do your own research as well. But and most of all, I suppose, enjoy what the time we've got. So enjoy your life, do what you enjoy doing, and just keep moving forward. That's kind of what I would be.
That is so inspirational. And I think I'd just like to add to that is your wife's been part of your journey all the way through. I know she's sitting just off to the side because I just spoke to her. And it is that whole like bringing your network in on this journey as well, I think is super important, because she's been a part of it all the way through, listening and asking how she can be a supportive hand in that. And I think working together as a team is also so important, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, without my wife, then I'll probably be like, nowhere near as well as I feel now, because she's the one that basically helps me with all the diet and plans it all and cooks it all pretty much. So without her, but that's been my whole of my military career. She's been my rock. I've just like gone off to all these different countries and stuff, and on jollies, and she's just been back managing the family and everything like that. So yeah, she is the rock.
Amazing. And it is so important for us, to draw upon those rocks around us for that level of support. So thank you so much, Eddie, for a real personal feedback to our listeners, because I can say this every day, but it's people like you that need to get your voice out there. So thank you once again. And thank you for allowing me the honor to support you on your journey, because it really is inspirational. And I always say this, it's my clients that inspire me day after day after day. And you really are one of those inspirational individuals. So I can't wait to keep being a part of your journey into 2025 and beyond, because this is why we do what we do, because it's about making a difference. So thank you, Eddie. And thank you to all of our listeners.
Thanks a lot.